All right, welcome to Cabin Fever. I'm Jake Berry, and I've got a special guest in, one of my favorite coaches, Coach David Gilpin of the Mission Vets Patriots. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jake. I like the name of that show, huh? Cabin Fever.
Yeah, and I've got it today. Let's just say that much. But, Coach, this wasn't the kind of off season that you probably wanted. How has this affected you guys in your program?
Well, Jake, the biggest thing right now for us is spring ball. That's the football phase that we were in the middle of when we got sent home hurt us. But the spring ball, this is going to be my 12th year, and we've had spring ball for the first 11 years. And I did an interview today, and I said, we had so much evaluation that we needed to do in spring ball because we've got a lot of young guys, really, really talented football players, and guys we're expecting to get the job done on Friday nights for us. But we needed to see those guys and get some evaluation done and get them on film in the spring. But that's not going to happen. And we're like everybody else. We understand that it's an even playing field for everybody. It's not just happening to Mission Veterans or Harlingen High School or South Lake Carroll. It's across the board. So we're going to adapt and overcome. But that's the biggest thing for us. With the summer still sitting there for us right now, hopefully. But the loss of spring ball is the biggest effect on our program.
I had Manny Gomez on, and he was talking about the same thing on Saturday, and we were talking about how they're addressing it using Zoom or
Right.
Social media to get
Right.
their kids to actually start to work.
Right.
What have you guys done?
Well, here's my thing, Jake. When we first got put under the 15 days by our president, or 15 days, shelter in place, distance, social distancing, all of that, I said, let's wait it out. Let's see what happens. We didn't start any meetings. We didn't start any at-home workouts. We didn't do any of that. But when last week he said we're going to go an additional 30 days, we're going to go to April 30th. At that point, there was no doubt we had to become proactive, and which we have done at this point. So I met with our coaches first of all, and we did it here on Zoom. It was new for me. I hadn't done it before, but we were able to get all of our coaching staff in, including our freshmen and our junior high coordinators. And we were able to get that in. And then I was able to meet with a group of our players. Didn't get everybody in. I kind of screwed it up, I think, on the invitation. Of course, it doesn't surprise me none. But and plus I didn't have the numbers for some of the guys for the invitation. So, but we got a limited number of our kids in, and it's pretty much, Jake, just to reassure them, tell them, hey, here's where we're at. Here's what's happening. Here's what's going to happen. Take a deep breath. Your coaches will be contacting. And we started last night on Sunday night. We sent out our weekly workout for this week, and we'll do it again this Sunday. Then we'll do it again the following Sunday, and we'll continue with that. And meeting with our coaches, I told them it's time for us to start meeting with our kids. So by position now, I missed our defensive line meeting today because I was doing it in an interview, like I told you. But our defensive line met today. Coach Rodriguez, our defensive line coach, had his guys on, and they got a good meeting in, he said. And we want to do that at all of our positions. We want our offensive coaches meeting. We want our defensive coaches meeting. We need to meet as a staff periodically. And, I put together an agenda, Jake, just like if we were doing it in our meeting room in the field house. Exactly. Put my agenda together, sat right here on my back porch, and went through that agenda with our coaches, got everybody on the same page and ready to go. So it was a very productive meeting for us as a staff, and now we're branching off from that. Today was our first day of official at-home workouts. A lot of our kids were already doing things on their own, and we were good with that. If you got weights at home, go ahead and lift. If you want to get out and do your footwork stuff, do that. But we hadn't officially put anything together. But once our president put another 30 days on us, we had to get proactive, and that's what we did.
When you're at home right now, what are you doing? Are you going through like old game tapes, or what's a day like for you?
It's hard, man. I'm watching Huddle. We're looking at our opponents for next year. Remember, we got some new ones in our district. They're new, but they're not new. Sherryland, Ron's still there. Pioneer, Tommy's still there. Valley View, Coach Esquivel, still coaches that were there the last time we played. Now, we haven't played Ed Couch in a long time. Christian's got a different schemes going on over there. We haven't played Mercedes in quite a while. Roger's still there. And so, we're starting to take a look at that stuff and starting to prepare what I'm going to do. I have to actually go into work tomorrow. We're banned from school. Can't even go on campus. I can't get to my office. I have permission to go in the morning because we have canceled spring ball. We had to cancel it. I don't think even if we go back on May 4th, I don't feel like we can get what we need to get done in a short period of time. So we did cancel spring ball for the first time, and we're going to have our helmets picked up and reconditioned, which we normally do after spring ball. But anyway, so I'm going to let the guy in to take care of our helmets, and I'm going to try to get all my stuff off my computer, which I wasn't able to do, Jake, and bring it home, and so I can get to work on some of my stuff that I need to. My biggest thing is going to be scheduling, and I can't do that right now until we know what we're going to be. When are we going back? You know, are we going to get back in time for 7-on-7? Are we going to get back in time for summer conditioning? Are we going to get back in time for sport-specific drills? You know, I feel pretty confident in saying that fall camp will open in time in August. You know, I follow everything on the news. I'm listening to our president and trying to, you know, get his feel for where he's at. And I know he wants to reopen our country. I know, you know, he's worried about the economy. And so a lot of the things that I hear him say lead me to believe that our country's going to be opened back up sooner rather than later. Now, having said that, you still got state leaders, local leaders that could do some different things. So we're going to have to wait and see. But scheduling is going to be my most difficult thing because we're not going to be able to do it the way we've done in the past.
You know, the good thing is that you get to have your son back. You know, he was at college. He hurt himself this year. What's that like for you having him back in the house?
That's crazy, man. You know, he came home for spring break, and you know, while we're here, we find out, okay, you're going to stay an extra week for spring break. Then while he's here, they say spring is canceled. They lost their spring ball, which was, you know, they're going to be doing some differently and hopefully, you know, to showcase some of what Landry can do and their other quarterbacks, obviously, too. But we're really, really, really excited about next fall for Landry. But he's done till fall camp opens up. You know, he'll be here for another 3-4 months. So, you know, we're trying to do the things that we can here at the house. And once we get the school back opened up and the gyms get back opened up, then, you know, we'll get him on the weights and hit him hard there. But that's really what he needs to do right now is just, you know, make sure he's strengthening that knee. He feels pretty confident in it right now. He's able to do a lot of things. But it is. It's neat, man, because I basically figured my son was gone, you know, when he left in August of last year. And yet here he is for an extended period of time. So it's nice to have him home. It's exciting. We're talking a lot of football, and you know, pretty much he's a teenager. You know, he wants to stay up late and sleep all day. And, you know, so when we cross paths, it's always about football and getting ready for football and taking care of his classes, which he's doing. And but it's exciting, Jake, to have him home. It really, really is, man. And I cannot wait until his next football season. I think he's going to burst onto the scene, you know, if not in his conference or if not nationally, then in his conference.
Now, I want to ask you some off the beat kind of questions. You know, they're not going to be your typical questions. Okay. I want to know right now during this quarantine or this shelter at home, what's the one movie that you guys have watched as a family? Well, what's the one movie that you have to watch?
We watched Uncut Gems the other night, me and my wife and my daughter with Adam Sandler.
What did you think?
I liked it. My wife didn't, but she got up and left several times during the movie, so she wasn't able to follow it. That's what I told her. You got to watch it all the way through. And I enjoyed it. You know, she pretty much watches a lot of stuff on Netflix. And, you know, I've got it I've got it on the Fox network most of the day in my bedroom. And, you know, I've watched some movies in there. But we haven't watched a whole lot of things together. I tried to get her to watch Tiger King with me because I enjoyed that. Man, that was crazy. But again, you got to sit there and you got to watch and you just got to kind of, at the end of the day, say, wow, what did I just see? And I enjoyed that, but I watched it on my own and started a couple of episodes with her. I told her, I'll watch it again with you, you know, and she kind of lost interest.
Here's the question about the Tiger King then. If somebody in the Valley, a head football coach, is going to play the Tiger King, who's playing the Tiger King?
Don't say me, man. Don't say me. It ain't going to be me, that's for sure. Let's see. Well, there's a lot of different things there, man. I don't want to put nobody in that spot. I'm going to leave that one alone.
Okay, here's the question then. The Carol Killer husband, what do you think?
Definitely, man. Come on. I don't know. You know, there's a lot of things in that was kind of like, wow, man. Even my wife asked me, isn't what she's doing just as bad with her refuge as what they're doing with their zoos? And I said, yeah, kind of. I don't want to. I don't know that lady or her family or anything, but she looked kind of guilty in that show for sure.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to find out if we could actually go through. I posted this one thing I found on Twitter of like all the towns in the valley who would play each town.
Yeah.
And they had McAllen was somebody, Mission was another person. But it'd be interesting to find out what coaches were, similar to the other characters. But
well, I got some of his similarities now, man. I'm a little backwoods. If you got to get redneck now, I can get down with you.
You're from Mission. You played there. I gotta ask, as a player, what's that one moment that you remember that sticks out in your head that you'll always remember? And as a coach,
the funny thing is when you ask me about what sticks in my mind as a player, the one story that I tell the most, my senior year, I didn't play my senior year, Jake. My senior year, Coach Lee's come into town. I played under Coach De La Fuente. Marcy De La Fuente, his son's the DC over at Sherryland, Pioneer now. And I coached with Marcy when we opened up in Mission Veterans. He was the defensive coordinator. And I played under him. And we weren't one of the top teams at that time. Mission was a basketball town at that time. And, Marcy was working and trying to get it ready. What I remember is when Coach Lee came in and I'd gone through spring ball. I was starting at defensive end, gone through spring ball, and the summer comes. And what do the football coaches want their players to do? Be up there all summer working and getting in their summer conditioning and getting in the weight room. And I wasn't doing it. And Coach Dykes, you remember Coach Dykes?
Yeah.
Coach Dykes came down here, coached 2 years, won a state championship, and at Lake Travis, won a couple of them, I believe. Anyway, Coach Dykes was calling. I wasn't answering, and he finds me one day at the golf course. This is the answer to your question. He finds me one day at the golf course, and I'm out there playing. I think I'm playing with Nati Valdez, and because we used to play all the time. And Coach Dykes stops me in there, and he says, "We're tired of looking for you. You either show up tomorrow, or we're moving on without you." And so I sat there, and it stewed in my head for quite a while, and I didn't show up the next day. And I did not play football my senior year. I thought I was going to be the next Dr. J. That was my hero at the time. I thought, I didn't realize that, 6'4" white boys that can't jump out of the gym. You're playing post and you're doing well in the valley aren't going to be a real hot commodity moving on to the next level. But I didn't know that at the time. Looking back at it now, I was pretty athletic. Football should have been my calling card, and I just didn't put the time and effort into it. So that was my my main memory of high school is Jeff Dykes telling me, "You better show up tomorrow, or we're moving on without you," and me not showing up. That is exactly what I remember most about high school football is me not doing that, which is a sad story actually, and disappointing and a wrong decision on my part and all of those things. But I can't go back and do anything about that. My best memory as a football coach is obviously winning the 3rd round 2 years ago, with my son at quarterback and advancing to the 4th round and being one of the just a couple of teams in the big school 5A, 6A ranks that had gone to the 4th round in the Valley in the last 30 years. And, that's a memory, a much happier one, a much one that I'm much more pleased with my decisions going in that one. And one that, myself and my family, and especially Landry, will be able to treasure the rest of our lives. So, I've coached 30 years now, Jake, and, I told our kids, for 19 years as an assistant, I'd never practiced on Thanksgiving. And then for 8 years as a head coach, I'd never practiced on Thanksgiving. And then or 7 years as a head coach. And then we practiced on Thanksgiving 3 years in a row. That year of 2018 when we went to the Dome, but also 2017 and 2016, we practiced on Thanksgiving as well. So, there's some real highlights in my career that I can look back on. But if you're going to ask me to pinpoint one, I mean, there's no doubt, man, against an undefeated Corpus Christi Vets team that was, very, very good. It was expected to beat us. And, our kids just came out and played with absolutely no fear in their heart. and represented the Valley, I thought, to the best of their ability, and just really, really proud of what that team did. And, while we were disappointed this year, we didn't get back. I mean, we're thinking third round and beyond every year now. We don't talk about winning. We had won 5 straight by-district games. But, when we lost our quarterback, Ricky Reyna went down midway through the season. We had to move our superstar receiver to quarterback, which AJ did a great job at quarterback. I mean, just did everything he possibly could. We're just a little outmanned this year, and then we get a draw like that in the first round. Corpus Christi Vets went to the 4th round this year, and we played them as a 4 seed. We win our district, set ourselves up for a first-round game that should be a winnable football game, and we draw a team that goes to the 4th round. Just unfortunate the way that things fell. And, we had gotten down early in that game, Jake. We were down, I want to say, I think it was like 17-3, and we came back and took the lead. We had a lead, and then we had a touchdown call back where our kid caught the ball, had come out of bounds and came back in to catch it. We had a drop touchdown pass, and we let a couple of opportunities get away in the first half. The second half, we just couldn't stay with them, man. They were just too good for us. And, the better team won that night, and we understand that. And, while it was disappointing because we didn't win our 6th straight by-district game, we understood that we gave everything that we had and got beat by the better team that night.
And I can remember when you first came in, and you were probably one of the most. I remember walking onto the field. I was a nobody, and you actually knew who I was. So that was like one of the coolest things in the world.
Yeah. Well, I remember 2010, Jake, man, when you and Greg Tepper, you and Greg came out there, not Tepper, came out and after we played Wesco East over there on a Thursday night, man, I can remember it like it was yesterday. We were 8-0. They were 8-0. It was only my second year. And we went in there, and it was a clash of 2 totally different philosophies. Coach Cuellar was the head coach at the time, but Coach Burgett was there. And we were able to get the job done and come out of there with a win. And I remember the elation, man, the jubilation that I felt talking to you and Greg after the game, man, on the field. And, that's probably where you got a little bit of a feel for who I am. We took some of Greg's words and turned them into motivation for us. And, I have no problem carrying a chip on my shoulder. You look right here in our own city. Coy Detmer played Division I football, played in the NFL, and I ain't nothing but a grinder, man. A guy that started coaching junior high football has worked his way up. So, I carry that chip on my shoulder, and I use that to our advantage anytime I can.
And you wear your heart on your sleeve all the time.
Without a doubt. And I got no problem with that, Jake. I'm not embarrassed to do that. I ain't embarrassed to get excited. I ain't embarrassed to get mad. I ain't embarrassed to cry. I ain't embarrassed to laugh. I'm just going to be who I am, because if there's anybody that's going to see through, it's your kids. And if your kids know that you love them, if your kids know that you will do everything humanly in your body to take care of them, your kids are going to go to battle for you on Friday nights. And that's what we've been able to cultivate here. And I have no problem wearing my emotions on my sleeve at all. It's who I am, Jake. So it is what it is.
And one of the things you mentioned on social media is that you had a player that actually just came down. He was stricken with an illness. Talk to me about that, because like you went to bat. A lot of coaches wouldn't touch that. They wouldn't put it out there. Yeah. You put it out there because you wanted people to know and support him. He
had his first treatment today, as a matter of fact, man. Santos was a young man that moved over. I remember meeting with his father and himself in my office. They were moving from Hidalgo, and they were looking for a place for him to play football. And we had just gone to the Dome back in 2010, and they said, we love what we see out of this program, but we're going to move into your district. And he became one of the greatest players that's ever worn our colors, that's ever put on our uniform. And just a fine young man, a terrific young man, goes on to win multiple national championships at Mary Hardin Baylor. Changed positions. He was a quarterback for us, Jake. And he became an outside linebacker. And, he's very proud of what they accomplished there at Mary Hardin Baylor, as am I. But I'm also very proud of what he accomplished with us and where he led us and the things that he did for us. And if you don't have that caring and that bond for kids that have done everything that you've asked them, what Santos did, man, you're not really a very good coach. You're not really a very good head coach in my case, man. You gotta care about your kids and love your kids, whatever the situation, however many years removed it may be. And my daughter was actually the one that let me know about it initially. I was able to get in contact with Santos, and his dad, and they kept me updated on the surgery, which he had successful surgery, and he's got cancer, but he had his first chemo treatment today, man. So he's one of those guys that if anybody can overcome, he will, and that's my expectation that Santos will.
Well, I hope he does. He's young, he's strong. Hopefully he can get through this and live a productive life, because, my father had stage 4 a couple years ago, and you can get through it.
Yeah.
But,
well, that's our expectation and our hope and our prayers for Santos, man. He's one of us. And like I said, he's got another football family. He went on to the next level, and that's his immediate guys, because that's the guys he spent with, but there was a time when he was wearing the blue with us, and there was a time that he was leaving it out there on the field for us every Friday night. And, we consider ourselves, I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was something about, we're all with you. And, our family is. And I've had coaches, players reach out to me. I've had people on Twitter be able to, acknowledge what's going on with Santos and say, hey, man, we're pulling for him. There's nothing. I'm not a doctor. I can't cure it for him, but I can let him know I love him. I can let him know that we're pulling for him. I can let him know, hey, man, we're praying for you, man. You're in our thoughts. And, with a situation like this, that's really all you can do. But if you turn your back and you just act like it's not happening, man, you ain't worth your salt, brother. Yeah, I mean that ain't what it's all about.
Yeah, and we'll leave a link on our Facebook page, so you can go to the information on Santos and how he's doing, because you guys seem to post some stuff every once in a while on Twitter.
Yes, sir.
So it'd be nice to keep track and give, and the Valley can give their support to him.
And the Valley, man, how about the Valley? Are they not just the people down here? Hey, I don't ever want to coach anywhere else, Jake. I'm happy in the Rio Grande Valley, and I'm obviously very happy at Mission Veterans Memorial, man. As long as they'll have me, I'm going to coach till I'm done, man. This is where I want to be. And, the way the majority of the Valley rallied behind us when we made a playoff run, when we were the last team standing, it's always a goal to be the last team standing in the Valley. And we met that goal 2 years ago. And the way that the Valley came behind us, I mean, the majority, you're always going to have people that are jealous. You're always going to have people that want to see you fail. And that's okay. That's human nature, and that doesn't bother us. It doesn't bother me in the least. But the vast majority of the Rio Grande Valley just really, really, really lent us their support, either verbally, through social media, there were so many people that actually went up there to our games. And we played 1 in Corpus and 2 in the Dome. And the number of not Mission Veterans people that were there was incredible.
Yeah, and, I've seen it before. Harlingen goes to the 4th round. Everybody gets up and goes.
Man.
And that's the nice thing about the Valley. The Valley,
I love it.
we're so small that when one of us does well, we go for the most part.
Yeah, it is, and it's a neat thing, man. I don't think that's excuse me, very common across the state. I don't think that's I think that we're unique in that thing, though. We've got 50 plus high schools down here, Jake. And when you get down to the last 2 or 3, 90% of the people in the Valley are cheering for you to succeed, cheering for you to represent the Valley, because we all got a little piece of it. If we're not in the playoffs, I'm cheering for every Valley team that's playing, because hey, that's us, man. That's who we are. And, trying to crack that door down, man, trying to make that step to get to the next level, to get to that state championship, to get that state championship game. And it ain't easy. We made the final 8. And, we ran into a buzzsaw that, their speed was too much for us early on. Now we were able to adapt to it. We were able to we threw the ball for 300 yards that game, but we had trouble running the football, man. Their speed was just there. They were on us before we could move. And it happens to all of us down here in the Valley as we move on. So it's a tall task and one that's not easy to accomplish. But every time there's a team that maybe got that little special something, man, it's fun to get behind those guys. And 2 years ago it was us.
Well, Coach, you're one of my biggest, I'm one of your biggest fans, and you're one of the nicest guys I've met. I really appreciate you coming on to Cabin Fever and helping me out with this show, because
yes, sir.
We've got plenty of time alone at home. Might as well reach out.
Yeah, we do. It's like when you asked me earlier if I was ready, I was like, man, I just fired up the pit. It's like, dang, what else? I've been barbecuing 3, 4, 5 nights a week. And, like you said, man, watching TV and, studying film online. And, You know, just trying to do the best we can, Jake. That's all any of us can do at this point.
Yeah, well, best of luck, and I hope we get to talk again. Whoops, sorry, my phone's going off here. I hope we get to talk again after all this
I hope
garbage
it's
is
during
over.
a playoff run next year. That's my favorite time to talk to the media. But appreciate your support over the years, Jake. I appreciate what you do for Rio Grande Valley athletics, not just football. You've been one of the guys that been there since I got hired, and it's been a pleasure knowing you've been a pleasure spending some time with you over the years, and I appreciate you thinking about us tonight and giving us a holler.
Thanks, Coach, and best of luck next season.
All right, Jake. Thanks, baby.